Hi guys, my name is Maya Elms, and today I'm going to be analyzing the 9/11 Memorial and Museum in New York City using Hans Rookmaaker's Foretold criteria. This site represents one of the most powerful examples of how art can respond to evil, suffering, and loss. I've actually been to the memorial many times before, but I recently visited it again over spring break, which gave me the chance to experience it more thoughtfully and reflect on its meaning in a deeper way. Rookmaaker's Foretold criteria. Before analyzing the memorial, it's important to understand the framework I'm using. Hans Rookmaaker's Foretold criteria is basically a way of evaluating art, not just based on how it looks, but on how it communicates meaning and truth. The first criteria is technical excellence, which looks at how well the work is designed and put together. The second is the integration of form and content, meaning whether the way the artwork is structured actually supports what it's trying to say. The third is thematic veracity, which asks whether the artwork is being honest about reality, especially when it comes to things like suffering or evil. And finally, authorial honesty and integrity, which looks at whether the work feels sincere and serious rather than forced or superficial. According to this framework, the more these elements work together, the more meaningful and powerful the artwork becomes. Introduction and theme. This memorial honors the victims of the September 11 attacks as well as the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. Nearly 3,000 people were killed across multiple occasions, including New York City, the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, and a crash site in Pennsylvania. The central theme of this site is loss and absence, but it also focuses on remembrance and reflection. Instead of explaining evil, the memorial invites visitors to experience its emotional impact and think about how we respond to it. Description of the site and location. The memorial is located in Lower Manhattan in New York City. It was designed by architect Michael Irad and landscape architect Peter Walker, and it was opened in 2011. Their design, which they called Reflecting Absence, was chosen out of more than 5,000 entries. It consists of two massive reflecting pools placed exactly where the Twin Towers once stood, but a little smaller. Each pool is nearly an acre in size and sits about 30 feet below ground level. Water flows down into a central void, creating the largest man-made waterfall in North America. Around the edges, the names of the victims are engraved into bronze panels, including those who died in both the 2001 terrorist attacks and the 1993 World Trade Center bombing attack. Technical excellence. The memorial is extremely well designed. The scale of the pools and the depth of the space make visitors feel small, reflecting the overwhelming nature of the tragedy. The use of materials like bronze, stone, and constantly flowing water creates a sense of permanence. Its simplicity and precision show a high level of intentionality and craftsmanship. Integration of form and content. I think the form of the memorial perfectly matches its message. The empty void in the center of each pool represents the absence left behind the victims. The continuous flow of water points to ongoing grief and remembrance. Even the placement of the pools and the exact footprints where the Twin Towers were reinforces the connection between the physical space and the tragedy. The engraved names make the loss personal rather than abstract. I feel like if the memorial were designed differently, it would lose much of its meaning, so the form and the content are deeply connected. Thematic veracity. The memorial tells the truth about suffering without exaggerating or romanticizing it. It does not glorify the event or make it seem heroic. Instead, it focuses on loss, grief, and absence. This honesty makes the experience feel real and emotionally authentic, reflecting the true human impact of the tragedy. Authorial honesty and integration. The creators approached the memorial with sincerity and moral seriousness. The design is simple and respectful, avoiding anything that feels sensationalized or dramatic. Instead of trying to push a political message, it really just focuses on honoring the victims and giving people a place to reflect. I think that this makes the space feel more genuine and respectful. Test of coherence. When we apply the test of coherence, the memorial is very strong. The technical design, symbolism, emotional impact, and moral seriousness all reinforce each other. Nothing feels out of place or contradictory. The entire site works together to create a unified experience of reflection and remembrance. This aligned with Rookmaker's idea that the more these four criteria harmonize with each other, the more valuable and meaningful the artwork becomes. Philosophical or religious worldview reflection. Philosophically, the memorial reflects the idea of moral evil. Since the attacks were caused by human choices, it also emphasizes absence, which raises deeper questions about meaning, justice, and suffering. The memorial does not provide answers about God or suffering, which connects to ideas like the Book of Job and Elie Wiesel's reflections on God's silence during tragedy. Critique and evaluation. I think for strengths, the memorial is very effective in creating an emotional impact and honoring victims. Its symbolism is powerful and its design is thoughtful. However, one limitation is that it does not attempt to explain why the tragedy happened or offer a clear sense of resolution. While this allows for personal interpretation, it may leave some visitors wanting deeper philosophical or moral answers. Personal reflection. Since I'm from New York, this memorial feels very personal to me. Even though I wasn't alive during the actual attack, it has always been something that's just been a part of the city and growing up here in the city's history. Seeing all the names and the empty space made it feel a lot more real than just reading about it. It's not just history, it feels like something that's still kind of present. One thing that stood out to me the most was the idea of absence, like there's something really important missing and nothing could fully replace it. Growing up, I would hear stories from my parents who worked Midtown during this time, and they didn't see the actual attack, but obviously were affected by the aftermath. But my uncle did see the plane going down because he was walking over the bridge during the time, like when it was happening. And my mom also had a close family friend that had to see people jumping out of the building, and I'm sure like so many similar New Yorkers have like similar experiences, and it was very traumatizing and caused so much PTSD, and this really affected the whole city for years and years after. Hearing those stories and then being at the memorial made it feel different. It made me think more about how people deal with tragedy and how we try to make sense of something that doesn't really have a clear explanation. In conclusion, the 9/11 Memorial shows how art can respond to evil and suffering in a meaningful and lasting way. Using Rookmaker's criteria, we can see that it is technically strong, emotionally powerful, and philosophically significant. And most importantly, it reminds us that the problem of evil is not just theoretical, it is something that affects real people and continues to shape how we understand the world. Thank you so much for watching.